How's it going, everybody? Steve from Perfect Reload here, and definitely not the video I expected to make today. So I knew that Nintendo was doing a Nintendo Direct today, and I decided I'm not going to do a reaction to it. It didn't necessarily strike me as being something big. I kind of figured it was just going to be a regular run-of-the-mill Nintendo Direct and not necessarily their like E3 or Summer Showcase equivalent, but I think that's what we ended up getting. Now, I still have not seen the show in its entirety because my plan was to watch it on my own time this week, and then in next week's episode of Perfect Reload Weekly, we dig into it after I had a chance to watch it. But as it was going on, which was, I think, 10 a.m. My time, I started getting text messages on my phone and Facebook messages, and I was like, oh, something must be going on. At first, I honestly thought it might be like something like wrong was happening. And I looked down and it was people talking about Super Mario RPG. So like real quick, I like looked up, I think I went to Kotaku, and they're like, they announced a Super Mario RPG thing. And at the time I thought, whoa, are they doing like a sequel? Like that's crazy. Like there's no way they're doing a sequel, but it ended up being that they're doing a remake for the Switch. Now, the reason why people were texting me and, the reason why I'm doing this video is because Super Mario RPG on the Super Nintendo is my all-time favorite game. Now, I know a lot of people have a hard time saying like, oh, this is my top 5, my top 10, or even just my singular favorite game of all time. I have never had that problem since the first day I played this game. So I spent an entire summer vacation playing through this game because when I was a kid, at that age, when that game came out, I did not yet really have video games at home. It wasn't until the following year when I started to like have video games at home. So I was at a babysitter summer vacation, and she had a Super Nintendo, and one of the games she ended up having was Super Mario RPG. Now, as a kid, especially at a babysitter's house, it's kind of difficult to like lay claim for a long period of time to the video games, the one video game system there. But I was able to kind of like work my magic that year negotiating, with the other kids so I could have my time to play this game. And especially like one of the biggest worries was, what if one of the kids gets mad at you and erases your save or something like that? And that's actually what ended up happening. It wasn't because somebody got mad at me, though. It was just one of the other kids decided to play the game. Didn't realize it, erased my save game. I had to start all over again. But I was determined that summer. I got through the entire game, played through the whole thing, start to finish. I did the hidden boss, Culex. I did pretty much everything you could possibly do in the game. And it really kind of cemented itself as my favorite game at that time. And later on in my life, as I became an adult, we'd have casual conversation about video games. They always say like, oh, what's your favorite game? I say, oh, Mario RPG. And it got to the point where I kind of realized like, this is my all-time favorite game, but I haven't actually played the game in a while. What if the game doesn't really hold up anymore? What if it's not necessarily my favorite anymore? So I was kind of scared of the game for a while, if you will, and wouldn't play it. And then finally, a little bit later on, I decided, I was like, you know what? I got to know if it's still my favorite game. Sit down and play it, play through the whole thing again. And yeah, it's still my favorite game. The last time I played the game, granted, it's been a little bit, was I think when the Super Nintendo Mini released and it was on there, and I played it. That was probably the last time I touched the game. So I have seen this trailer, so I'm not going to lie to you and say it's my first time big reaction to watching this, but I did watch it on my phone, so I didn't necessarily get the best view of it. I was kind of rushed while watching it. We're going to go through it, and I want to pause it, and I want to kind of take a look at it and see what's kind of going on, because I've seen some screenshots and it looks like they're making some changes, and I have some thoughts on changes to this game. So yeah, why don't we dig in? This is just the singular trailer that Nintendo has uploaded now that the Direct is done. So, all right. So this right here, this is the opening of the Super Nintendo game. Same music, whole deal. And then this is new. All right, so we're gonna pause it real quick. Okay, immediately it's different music. It's not the original score. It's definitely been updated. I did see that they are doing a reimagined score for this game. Now, I don't necessarily know what Nintendo's definition or their definition in the context of this game being a reimagined score. I don't know if it's just, hey, we took it note for note, re-recorded it with modern hardware or whatever it may be to have higher quality audio than the Super Nintendo could produce, which that's totally fine. That makes sense. Or is this going to be like remixed versions of tracks? Is there going to be new music in the game? Are they going to remove music from the game? I would say for most people, when they see this game or they've played this game, the three things that really stand out are the gameplay, because it does have a very unique combat system that not many games have done, which we're going to touch upon. Its art style, because the art style is very distinct. Everything was kind of designed to look like a dollhouse. It was designed to look like children's toys in a way. It was an isometric game. And then the music, I think the music stood out for a lot of people. That score, which we just heard a snippet of, it's a really iconic piece of Nintendo music. At least to me, you know, I granted, you know, I haven't played a lot of the Zelda games, which have these big sweeping orchestral scores. They get turned into like, you know, touring orchestras will play them and stuff like that. So I can't base it upon that. But to me, at least, the kind of the main melody, the main theme for Mario RPG is pretty, you know, resonates throughout time with Nintendo fans. So, all right. Obviously a very different visual style, no doubt about it. You know, this is a very modern Nintendo style. Same logo. Logo hasn't changed. All right. So obviously the dollhouse toy aesthetic is gone. This looks like just regular old, I guess I would kind of describe this as looking more in tune with the modern 2D Marios. So like new Super Mario Brothers, like stuff like that. Or maybe even, what was the Wii U one that came out on the Switch as well? Was it like New Super Mario World or something like that? Like Super Mario 3D World or whatever. They did one, I think, on the 3DS, then they did one on the Wii U, and then it was the one with Bowser's Fury. It's kind of got that style. So it definitely does not have the children's toy look anymore. Like that is gone. And I think that is a huge knock against this already. Because remember, they're not saying that this is a remaster. This is a remake. So I'm not thrilled with that right off the bat. But everybody looks super expressive, like Gino, Mallow, everybody looks really, I mean, it's animated like really well. Here, okay, right here. This is totally different. Hopefully I can get this YouTube bar to go away. This gauge, you can't see my mouse cursor, but this gauge here, this 43% brand new, where it says 3 chain off to the side, that's brand new. This layout down at the bottom here is all brand new, and I don't like it. And I don't want this to turn just me like dumping on this, but if somebody's remaking my favorite game of all time, yeah, I'm going to be kind of critical of it. I don't understand the change. Like, yes, this like is a very clean look, but this looks very generic to me. This looks like every JRPG you see sitting on the shelf, you know, based on a property you're not familiar with. Like, you could take this layout, replace Mario, Mallow, and Gino with 3 random names and tell somebody like, oh yeah, that's the UI from one of the like Atelier games or something like that. So I'm not thrilled on that. If you've never seen the original, it looked like a Super Nintendo controller. It would have like the X, Y, B, A, and you know, as you would highlight it, or you would press the button physically and it would highlight and it would say like attack or item or whatever. I don't understand why they got rid of that, because they could very easily, because those button layouts have not changed since the Super Nintendo. They could just have a Joy-Con. It could just look like a Joy-Con on the screen. I think that'd be kind of neat. Or honestly, just make it look like it used to with the kind of floating block look that the Super Nintendo game had. So I'm not into this. And obviously we don't necessarily know what this meter is yet. We don't know what this combo is yet, because there are combos in the game in a way. So the combat mechanic in the game was timing based. So when you would jump as Mario, when you would land on an enemy's head, you would hit the jump button again and he would go up. And if you could do it right, like you could get 20, 30 jumps, like, you know, ridiculous. that timing based RPG system to me is my all-time favorite combat mechanic for a turn-based RPG. And granted, I haven't played a ton of RPGs in my life, but the first South Park game, Stick of Truth, basically mimicked that whole style, and it played amazing. I loved the way that game played. I honestly, even if I didn't have some level of affinity for South Park, I would have probably played that game just to get like a fresh take on the Mario RPG formula. Now, I can't imagine they've removed the timing mechanic from this remake, because I mean, that is like really what defines the game. It's a very different game if they take it out. If they take it out, they might as well just call it Paper Mario RPG edition or something like that. Like you're removing like the root of what made that game special from a gameplay mechanic. But we will continue on. Like, this looks nice. Like, don't get me wrong, it looks really nice. It's just so different. It really is such a drastic change from the original. Like, all these updated enemies, like everything looks really good. Like Gino's colorful effects there with his lasers, like that looks great too. Having like the statuses up in the corner, like, yeah, you know, that makes sense. I'm curious. Okay, so I'm curious, the Boyer battle there. Let's go back for a second. So the way his battle works, he's the first boss of the game. So the way his works is it will have your controller icon that you would if it was your turn on offense, and you would see the XYBA. He would have that on screen for him. He would fire an arrow. The arrow would land on a button, and now you are locked out from using that button. So without having that visual indicator on the screen, what are they going to do? Because that really changes the look and feel of his entire boss fight. So I'm really curious about that. They are very cagey here by not having any UI on the screen at all for his encounter. So I thought that was kind of interesting. And if you're not familiar, Bowser is a good guy in this game. He is a party member. Okay, there's the multiple jumps. You see a little bit of it there. This is definitely this part right here is definitely interesting with them. There's a whole section of the game where you go to this, like, you can see him kind of in the, okay, you can't see my mouse cursor now. These moles. There's a whole mole town in the game. And like one of the big quests during it is to go in these mine carts. And it actually turns, like, for the Super Nintendo era, it turned like the mode 7 on, and you were like behind the back in a mine cart, and it had that very like F-Zero kind of look to it. I don't think they're going to get rid of it for this for whatever reason, but this is definitely an interesting look on it. Like I said, it's been a while since I played the game. I don't remember you launching through the air outside in this. Maybe at the end of that kind of dungeon-ish area you do. Yeah, so it's, I don't know. It's really tough. It's really tough. It's weird, right? Because this is the first time that I've ever had this happen to me before. Like, I don't think I've had a beloved game from my childhood really get like a modern remake or a remaster. So it's kind of like a new concept to me. And just at face value here in this 2-minute trailer, like, you see that they have changed a lot. Like, a lot has changed. And I don't want to just be like, super downer on it. But I mean, just at face value, without having my hands on the game or having like a deep dive or like a developer talking to us about the way the game plays, like, it just doesn't feel like the same game. I think, Super Mario RPG is definitely a cult game. It's not a marquee title in Nintendo's history. It's a very popular game for a lot of people my age because it was a big deal at the time. But it's not, I never got the feeling that Nintendo holds it in high regard, mostly because Nintendo didn't make it. And we'll get into that. So Nintendo did not make this game. This game was made by Square. This was before the Square Enix merger. So I could be out of the loop now because it's been a long time since I've looked into this because it's, you know, it's not like a topic I need to keep up on. But the story I have always heard was they developed the game much like how other developers in the 90s got the rights to Mario games. You know, Philips did like Hotel Mario and those weird Zelda games. So they got the rights to Mario to make an RPG. Because remember, Square and Enix both were super hot at the time. This is before Chrono Trigger, but Final Fantasy was already like well established at this point. So it was a really big deal to have like the best developer in the business for RPGs partner up with Nintendo to take their mainstay character and make an RPG. But if you really think about it, in this game, you have Yoshi, Mario, Princess Peach, and Bowser. Everybody else, off the top of my head, is a creation from Square, except Birdo's in the game. They're all Square creations. So like Mallow. Mallow is a Square character. Gino is a Square character. And the story I've always heard is that because of that, that's why we never saw them really in any other games. Like, as far as I know, they're not in like Smash Brothers. They've never popped up in like Mario Kart or anything like that. We certainly never got a sequel to this game. I assume there had to have been some bad blood at one point or another with Nintendo and Square over licensing or character rights or whatever. Who knows? I don't know if there's like a good like history of the situation. Maybe these days on YouTube, there's probably some like video essay that breaks it all down that I'm not familiar with. But we never got a sequel. They transitioned to the Paper Mario series, the Mario and Luigi like Superstar games on Game Boy Advance. We never got Mario RPG 2. Now with this happening, and if you look at the end of the credits here, it does say Nintendo Square Enix. Now, it could just say that because Square made the game and they have to put it on there for copyright purposes. But I would, fantasy in my own personal inner world, I would hope that maybe this is like reopening lines of conversation to maybe Nintendo says, what would it take for us to get the rights to all those characters so we can make Mario RPG 2? Or would you like to make Mario RPG 2? If this game sells super hot, which it may not, like I said, it is a cult game. But if this game like burns up the charts for Nintendo, wouldn't there have to at least be consideration or conversation for a sequel? I don't know. That's just me fantasy playing it out in my head. I have no idea if that's a possibility, but I don't have a Switch right now. I got rid of my Switch a couple years ago. I wasn't really playing it at the time. And at the time, there wasn't really anything announced on the horizon that I was like super excited for. I was also, I'm much better now, but at the time going through a little bit of a difficult financial situation, and selling it seemed like the best idea. So I parted ways on my Switch. I haven't regretted it because at the time, I needed the money to take care of living. But there's definitely been a few games that have come out since then. Is this enough for me to go spend? I don't even know what a Switch is. $250, $300 still. Probably not. This probably isn't going to get me to buy a Switch. But I'm curious. I'm really curious about this, but I want more. I need to see this game actually being played. I need to see scenes unlike, where is it? Unlike this, that purposefully does not have the fucking UI on it. Like, I want to know, like, what are they doing with this game? Because this is so boring. This is so clean and sterile and generic and just bleh. Like, I just, I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like looking at it. I want it away from me. I don't know. Like, it looks good. Like, if the game had looked like a regular Mario game at the time, we'd all be saying like, oh my God, this looks amazing. Like, this is incredible. But it's not. It's just not that. So yeah, I wanted to take the time. I put on my Mario RPG t-shirt. I wanted to take the time to discuss, some thoughts on, my favorite game being remade by Nintendo. Like I said, definitely not the video I thought I would make, but I'm interested, but I'm very, very cautious about this. So yeah, as details come out, I'm sure we'll talk more about this as we get closer to the release of the game. It's not coming out until towards the end of the year, end of November. But yeah, boy, I don't know how to feel. I gotta think this one over. But yeah, thanks for checking this out with me as we relive a little bit of nostalgia from my life. And yeah, I don't know. So yeah, before we go, if you are a fan of this game like I am, please leave a comment below. Let me know what you think. I want to talk to other people that really enjoy this game. I really like to know what your thoughts are on the look, and also maybe your theories on how the UI and all that's going to play, and what that chain meter is. What is this? What are you? I don't understand you. I want to know what you are. You get a boost here. Boosting what? Attack gauge? What's attack gauge? What's attack gauge? All right. That'll be, I can sit here and ramble on for hours. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.